Okay.
All
Sorry,
right.
Chief, go ahead.
Yep,
Sorry
no
about that.
problem. So in review of our city statistics, in the past, October has been slightly higher. And which was just kind of an oddity. I think we had recognized that the last few years. This year for call activity, it is actually slightly below for public initiated and slightly higher for deputy initiated, and as compared to the rest of the months so far this year. And I would say that there's not necessarily a reason for either of those, but I guess a correlation of if the deputies are a little less busy with calls and they're a little more active with their available time, that could be that slight increase for the deputy initiated activity. However, the reported calls for service, excuse me, the reports taken was slightly higher in October. So even though we were called less, there were a few extra reports, but we're talking about a total of 20 reports for the entire month. So it wasn't really anything significant. I just want to make sure I got you an answer on that.
Thank you.
Our staffing right now at the sheriff's office is getting to be in a much better spot. I know that that's something that I probably bring up every time, but we really have for the last several years. Everyone in law enforcement, right? We saw our numbers go down, and we've been slowly climbing back out of that. We've been hiring at a rapid pace, which has been difficult in this environment. But I think that we are at the sheriff's office an employer of choice. And so we've attracted a lot of people to come work here at the sheriff's office. A lot of those are lateral employees that have come from other local agencies. It was something kind of crossed my mind today. I think I might try to pull these statistics and take a look to see how many deputies we have currently that we have actually acquired from other local agencies, and kind of put a number on that. It's going to be
Yeah,
kind of
that'd be
high
interesting.
as compared
That'd
to,
be good.
I can only think of a couple that have left us to go to a local agency. So that's a good sign when they're coming to your agency and not leaving to go other places. And that's better for all of us, for attracting, qualified, trained personnel, right? They're cheaper to get on the road. They're already essentially, vetted. They have that experience, and they get out on the road and help us faster. The other part to this is, it's a big training is a big, it's a big cog, a big wheel that it moves slowly. We're government, but training takes a long time. And the problems that we're seeing right now are a little bit of burnout with our people that are doing training, because they're just constantly, going from one recruit to the next. We've got several recruits that are just waiting for a training officer to get them through training. As I've mentioned before, that process takes 18 months between the, getting hired and the academy and the field training, just to get to the point where they're on their own. But we're getting ourselves in a really good spot now where our patrol shifts are right about the level where we want them to be. And we're going to now start backfilling some of these specialized units and detectives and putting personnel in other spots where they're needed. One of those being in Estacada, where we still plan to bring on a new deputy in March, which will take us up to 4 patrol deputies and then the 1 SRO. And we'll be at near 24/7 police coverage here. At the just a note, at the request of the city manager, I did invite the sheriff to attend one of the city council meetings. So she's looking ahead at her calendar for 2025 and seeing what's available. But she'll probably come share just some news around the sheriff's office and kind of a direction of what's happening. That's proposed. We haven't set a date yet, but I'm sure that'll happen at some point. And then I was also told, I knew that the graffiti stuff was going to come up later. And I had a discussion with the city manager about perhaps posing a suggestion of this committee maybe finding or creating or finding a volunteer group that might want to help with graffiti removal. It be a situation where if we identify places where there is graffiti, whether it's easy to remove on public property, but on private property gets a little bit more difficult because you have to start working with the property owners. But if I'm just kind of brainstorming an idea of finding a group that wants to do graffiti removal, and this committee could help support that. We identify it, take some photos of it, and document it if we need to for criminal activity. But this would be kind of the second part of that, of coming in afterwards to clean it up. Just posing that as an option if this committee wants to take up that as an option.
I remember we talked about this a little bit. I think it was at the last meeting, but just to clarify, like if it's private property and if the homeowner goes and takes a picture of it and then sends it to the sheriff's office, is there value in that?
Yeah, it's definitely, it's a crime, to be a vandalism or criminal mischief. And so, yeah, definitely we would want a photo of that to document it. If the scenario is if the homeowner notices this and then covers it up, and then reports it to us, a photo is more valuable than not having a photo, or us coming out and taking a photo is good for evidence, because then we can link it to other instances
Right.
of crimes. And then, if we do find the person that's responsible for that, then hold them accountable for all of them. And then obviously the more times it happens, the higher the charges would be, and maybe the more severe consequence. So yes, there is value in capturing those photos and documenting it in a police report.
So just to hammer out the preferred process then would be call the non-emergency line, and then see what they say. If there's no officer available in a timely manner, go ahead and take a picture and send it to this address and that kind of thing. Or if an officer happens to be available, they might be able to swing by. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, I honestly, I would say non-emergency is fine. And the deputies in Estacado are not busy to the point that that wouldn't be handled in a timely manner. There might be those off days where someone's in training or sick or something like that, and there's a delay because maybe the county's covering us. If the homeowner was antsy enough, or the property owner was antsy enough to want to clean it up right away, then yeah, just snap a photo of it, and that would be sufficient. But the deputy can come out and take care of that generally in a timely manner.
One last question, then I'll be quiet. Is there value in, I'm assuming you know what the tenure is of your force. Is there value in that? I mean, is that a good number to know, or is it I just know that, like, with what I do, if I see a place where the people have been there a long time, that's a good sign.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. Yeah, I mean, if the longer and more you've done this career, right, the more knowledge that you have, right, the more tricks more tools you have in your bag of tricks, right, where you're like, hey, how do I solve this problem? You can figure out on your own instead of asking somebody else. So you're just getting that knowledge. Knowledge and experience, it goes a long ways, right? We actually, in this most recent contract, we compensate our deputies well for longevity, and I think that's a big deal. Yeah, because when you do have those guys that with their 30 years of experience that retire, right, they're taking a lot of that knowledge and experience with them. He's not in here right now, but like Deputy Bigler, he is one of the most senior deputies in Clackamas County. So for him to be here in Estacado, I mean, that's a huge value for us because of all of his experience. It's not often that he would have to call somebody like, hey, I've got a question on this. I'm not sure what to do. Like he's been there, done that type of thing. Most of the times it's people calling him asking for advice. And then, with that experience comes, hopefully the maturity, right. And that calmness. So there's a lot of value into having people with experience.
Any questions?
No, no.
Yes, sir.
I just have one for Chief. Just saw it online recently. It was a burglary on a commercial property out in the industrial park,
Mhm.
Brousseau's Coach Works. And I guess it happened, the couple individuals, the photos were posted online that they were casing the property on Saturday and returned Monday night to burglarize it.
Okay.
And it just said, obviously Deputy Bigler is on it. So I was just wondering if there was
Oh,
any recent info on it.
I talked to him today. He didn't mention a burglary investigation, but I will look into that. What was the name of the business?
BROSSEAU, I think Coach Works in the industrial park. It says it's been reported to you guys. And it says to either reach out to him or Deputy Bigler for any information.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll look into that for
Okay.
sure. Yep,
I appreciate it.
you bet.
Thank you.
Okay,
That's all I got, John.
thank you, Chief.
I'll hang out for a little bit in case you guys have any questions.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to the fire chief's report. I took a look at, any questions or comments on the fire chief's report?
Was that in?
I don't think so, because we posted it, it's connected to our page, right?
Yeah, it's on their website, so.
No,
it's-
that's fine.
it's
I
not-
remember looking
didn't
through
put
it.
in the packet.
That's okay.
And I didn't,
Can I just quickly look at it?
yeah,
Or-
sure.
Or tell us what you,
Well, no, it's
it's in there?
yeah, it's in there. I didn't see anything that stuck out. They're so busy. They do so much
I
stuff.
do.
And just as a side note, it seems like it's not science, but it seems like I see so much more law enforcement vehicles around. I really like it.
Just add to that, obviously Estacada is a desirable place to live.
Yeah.
We have a lot of our deputies that live in this area, so that also helps contribute to the
Saw Salem Police
Yeah.
Department, Multnomah County.
Fulham County, Gresham. Yeah. hmm
Board packet,
Yeah. And it was just the chief's report.
82 pages.
No, the chief's report's usually about a dozen or so.
Oh, okay, there it is. Got it. Okay. Nothing stood out.
No. Other than just they're constantly doing stuff.
Okay.
You good?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Um,
Well, I just want to say went to take my granddaughter to watch the new Christmas movie where Santa Claus gets kidnapped. And while we were leaving town, they had that controlled burn out there by the churches on Eagle Creek. It was smoking when we left, and there was that much of the house left by the time we got back from the movie. So it was quite impressive seeing all the photographs and them there taking care of the house that was from all those years ago.
right.
Beautiful house, but there was so much foliage around it. I don't think anyone knew that house was there
Right.
unless you've lived here 30 years. But they, cleared it out and everything. It was just impressive how they got that, and then they put the dirt on it and then let them go home. It's a pretty good job. Few hours work.
Right. Okay, so moving on, into committee business. So first up is the city engineer's, traffic or, report regarding calming. So comments. Remember this was, we, submitted some ideas,
Yeah.
the borders and then the
Edge line pavement markings and rumble
then-
strips.
right in rumble strip. And then this was the report back. And then there was a lot of additional information as well. that he added. So did you guys get a chance to look through that?
Mhm.
So there's two things that we're working on or additional options when speed bumps
Mhm.
aren't appropriate. And then the other thing was we're going to start looking at the same time, we were going to look at the school zone safety stuff.
Can we recommend, or are these on the table for moving forward?
It's, yeah, anything we
I mean,
want.
the speed cushions and the raised pedestrian crossings sound pretty good. To add to the, what was it, sorry. Edge line pavement markings and rumble strips.
So,
He did say that edge line paving markings don't do much for traffic calming. They're not
Okay.
impactful for traffic
Okay.
calming. Neither are I'm probably gonna get this, the horizontal rumble strips are good or the vertical are bad. I'm sure I'm switching those rights. The one that go across the lanes will slow people down, but they're very loud. And so he doesn't really recommend putting those.
for a
in-
neighborhood,
for in neighborhoods. They're
Gotcha.
great as you're leaving like high-speed country roads approaching to the city. Sometimes you'll see them there, but you don't generally see them in neighborhoods because they're quite loud.
okay.
Are they installed? Is that why they're loud, or is it?
So
cement?
when you're going, like if you're leaving here and you're going on the highway, they have the rumble strips on the side of the road. So when you kind of go over the line, that's
Got it.
what rumble strips are, is
Okay.
that kind of digging out of the pavement there. And I'm
Okay.
sure if you've ever went over the line, you know how loud those can be.
Okay.
I guess that we have so many really steep streets. I was reading about that new project going up there where it's going to be super steep. And what are the options for slowing people down when you've got grades like that? And I didn't realize there's a difference between speed bumps and speed humps.
Yes.
But I guess it's a height thing, and I guess there's different materials. Some are asphalt and others are some sort of
With-
Composition rubber.
Right.
yeah,
I think
thing-
where we're
that kind of thing.
located too, we're not in the urban area, we're in a rural area.
And so I thought I read in here that the speed cushions
Yeah.
had the same restrictions as in terms of a grade as the speed bumps. And so I don't know if there's anything that's elevated that you can put on like an 18% grade street or something like that. People are still racing down them, but how can you slow that down? Yes, sir.
Well, I think it was a few months ago, I don't know if you heard, Chief, but when I do go to the VA hospital in Portland,
Yeah.
when you're heading up towards Terwilliger, they have speed cushions, and I made sure that I had it on the slide before, and they're going up. I mean, people can park on them. I don't want to say non-existent, but they have the arrows there on it, but it's not any, significance. Not that Shafford has a huge angle on their speed bump or hump, but it's just a big rectangle. You go up a little bit and come down.
All
I
right.
sat there and they go all the way up the hill to Terwilliger to turn into the VA hospital. So they do have them in Portland on the other side of the bridge.
I just, my concern is that if there's some kind of regulation that says you can't do this at a certain level, you don't want to expose the city to potential liability. So what was the workaround? I'd be interested to find out on those streets, because is it city, Portland?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Multnomah County.
And
yeah,
so reaching out to them to find out if there's a workaround.
Yeah, if you want to reach out to them, I would also recommend asking if they plow those streets, because the speed humps are an issue when the guys are out there plowing.
Do they plow
They plow this, they plow the steep streets. They don't plow the flat streets generally.
I think in the same meeting, we were doing all the research. I put some articles in regards to Boston, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and they have those, they move, but they're reflectors. So they show where the speed bump is on either side. So when they're either sweeping the street or they're plowing the street, they'll raise and then they go back down because Boston just put in over 200 and something speed bumps the other year. And it was in that article and they have no issue. And being born there, there's a little snow there. I know we get a dusting here compared to back there where you actually have to take the snow and dump it in the harbor.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
in a
and
strip ball.
We
It
should
just-
make sure to check in with Dawn that our equipment is
Right.
able to handle that kind of.
Right. Yeah, but
Okay.
and it's not a hump or a bump. It's something that's, even more
Mhm.
Really,
non-invasive.
I mean, the takeaway is that, again, we've got a lot of really steep
Right.
streets.
Yeah.
And people are flying down them and the neighbors are concerned. So what can we do? Is there something we can reasonably do? So I think looking, well, I guess find out what the workarounds were, if there are any. Maybe they just went ahead and did it and didn't pay attention to the Fed thing. I don't know. I would not really want to do that without lots of T's crossed and that kind of stuff.
I mean, there's several options that weren't speed humps in this memo, like chokers and.
Yeah, I
and
saw
the-
that.
Yeah.
Did you look at those?
The lateral shifts. I mean, anytime you
The memo?
compress the street, it creates a psychological impact that makes people slow down, whether, there's less width. If they feel there's less width, they'll slow down.
Right.
And that's something that's flat though, right? Because I'm looking at you saying the lateral shift.
The lateral shift, yeah. So it just kind of, they create a little like a bump out that moves the traffic a little bit over. So it causes them to slow down because the road isn't necessarily one huge straight shot.
Right. And usually after 4 o'clock, we have the people coming home and they all park in the street. So if we have that along with, you know what I mean, on the lateral shift, I don't know how that would work. I don't know if you're able to park on that or not. I know the speed cushions and the raised, well, you can't park in a raised sidewalk. That would be, that'd be a bad thing, right? A speed table.
Lateral shift I remember reading this now,
Mhm.
it does restrict some on-street parking. There's still
Okay.
some available, but it does restrict it.
Okay.
On these super steep streets, are a lot of people parking on them?
Well, and also, here in the report, lateral shift costs up to 25 grand and a
Oh.
speed cushion only costs 3,000 to 4,000. So don't really want to,
Right. I mean, if
Spend
it's,
something
if
like
it's,
that.
if it's a legitimate option, it's
Right.
a cost-effective one. We just have to find out if that's something that we can actually do. Seems like there was something else, the choke point or choking down the road.
choker, yeah,
Choker.
where they just kind of put a little compression. Again, you
Right.
are creating a slightly narrower point so people slow down. I mean, it might take out one parking space, but
Bless you.
the cost on that is, it says
oh, yeah.
anywhere from $1,500, which is not a whole lot, up to 20,000. And that's depending on how you engineer it.
Right.
And our engineers the city engineer tries to be pretty dollar savvy.
Okay.
Wow.
Um,
Choker. Never heard that one.
yeah, and it made sense.
I remember
Um,
the bump outs over here on 4th and Main. I remember those. And those are expensive too.
So if you're okay, let's do this. Let's find out more information on what Portland does with their those things, just so we have
Okay.
more information. And then let's look into further into chokes. What are they called again? Chokers. To slow things down. And then lateral shifts. You know, taking a look at, and that's actually another, that leads to another question. I don't know how many, I think they said, but how many people have requested, you know, some kind of speed mitigation thing. I went looking for our policy in the city codes or something like that.
So the policy is listed on your page, on the TPSC page.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't look there.
It's not in the code. It's not, because it's
I
a
got a couple
policy.
here,
It's
I
not
think.
an ordinance. So it's not going to be in the codes. It's on your page with the application
Okay, so it's
for
just,
the,
so it's like a guideline that the city uses.
yes.
Okay,
Yep. And I think we've had either 2 or 3. There's one in today's packet. Then there's another one that, we're waiting to get some signatures back on. That'll probably be in next month's packet.
okay. I did have it because I went back and looked. Well, first I looked for it on the, and then I went back to the meeting where you guys talked about it and at the city council. And I actually, once we sent our recommendation to the city council, we were done. I didn't realize that if you read it, we're actually in it.
Yes,
Um,
that's why it's on your
Yeah,
agenda.
I didn't realize that. So thank you, chief.
Have a good night.
You too.
Drive safe out there.
And so my understanding now reading this is that someone either approaches the council or the committee, or they get the form from the city site, and then they fill out the form and they either turn it into the city or they turn it into the committee.
I'm pretty sure that they fill out the form, they turn it into the city because Dawn has to review it to make sure, Dawn and Kurt, so the Public Works and the city engineer review it for the things like the slope and things. And then he'll bring it back to you.
Okay. Okay, so we haven't officially had any of those applications come to this committee until today.
Until today, this
Gotcha,
is your
gotcha.
first one.
Okay, okay. Ooh. Um, so. And then the city, Public Works Director will, or designee will consult with us. Is that the consulting with us? Is that when they put it to the committee, or do they do anything with it before it gets to us?
The Public Works Director reviews it and decides if it's eligible based on the criteria that are in the policy, and then sends it to you to review it. And if they can appeal it to you if they don't like the Public Works Director. But in the end, the Public Works Director is the final decision.
Sure. So here's my confusion then, why I didn't get it is because upon determination by the Traffic Public Safety Committee or the Public Works Director, that's the paragraph which says,
I know that needs to be reworded because it sounds like it goes to him and then goes to you and then
Right,
goes to
right.
him and then goes to you. And yeah, so we should probably reword that because it is a little confusing. I think ideally it goes to Public Works Director, he reviews it, it comes back to you, you guys can review it too. And I think ideally if we have a bunch of them that we're going to approve, that those would come to you to say, when we're doing the budgetary process, for you to say this should be first, second, third, you know, based on whatever we'll have left in the budget to do them.
okay. And then, okay,
I have a question about that.
yes, sir.
First paragraph. That's okay.
Yeah, of course.
In regards to the section where it says City Public Works Director or designee will consult with the Traffic and Public Safety Committee. Is that happening in the last 2 months in regards to this application? Or is it the email that was sent to you?
It's the email that's included in your packet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I just thought that as a committee that we would have a vote on it, have some say on it, before Don just straight up denies it.
Because Dawn reviews it to see if it meets the criteria. And if it meets
Absolutely.
the minimum criteria,
Absolutely, and there's a reason why I'm asking for these, because it says that he will make recommendations
mhm,
regarding this application.
mhm.
So
Ah.
it's not final. Are we gonna have a discussion?
You can have a
about this
discussion on
application?
it, but in the end, the final decision is Dawn.
I understand that.
Okay.
And the reason, again, in the second paragraph, it says the street that is not eligible. After this meeting, will the representative that wrote this application be notified why the street is not eligible?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Email something in the mail
something
and the
email.
reason why or why not?
Hmm.
Because it's the first one. I just want to,
Yeah, this is our first one. So
Make-
if there is issues in our process, we can iron them out and
Okay.
change this.
that's what I wanted to bring
Yeah.
to light because what John's saying and what's here,
Hmm.
I think we went about this backwards. I appreciate Don going over this for the last 2 months, but I haven't been around. So I didn't know if Don had reached out to you guys. And I'm bringing that to the committee as a concern that a decision was made before anybody on this committee looking at this application. That's the concern I have. Because people in the community are worried about the safety. You said there's what, 2 or 3 applications out there
Yeah.
possibly?
Yeah,
And I mean, what are we doing as a community, a committee? We have to look at this and if there's other things that we can come up with, if it's a steep grade or if it's not a road that's qualified, we should have a say in that also. Granted, I'm
and that,
not,
yeah, and that's why it's on your, I think Dawn's email says something like, you know,
denied.
it doesn't meet the criteria, but we would like the other suggestions for potential speed reducing, can suggest alternative speed reducing measures. If they have suggestions, I can review them and get back at a later meeting.
So,
Can I continue on that?
okay.
Yeah.
I apologize. On this, it says in this speed hump application, under the requested solution, we are requesting 2 speed cushions
Mm.
as traffic speed calming devices.
Mhm.
My question is for the staff or Don or the police, fire district, planning department, public works, or city manager. Do we have full disclosure? Are we able to see who okayed it or denied it? Or is it just, well, because I'm going by the form
Mhm.
that the applicant had to fill out and what you included in the packet was blank?
Yeah, so
So we can see
the email from Dawn is him saying that it
Okay.
doesn't meet the criteria.
now, that
Because
was
the
the reason.
grade is higher than 8%.
Right. Okay, that's fine, but was there any input? Because we spent a lot of time doing this policy and I don't see anything on police, fire
Because-
district.
Because it doesn't meet the minimum criteria.
Okay, but I mean, he's just saying
So stepping back for a
slope
second,
of the road.
Yes,
I mean-
slope of the road means the criteria says you don't have to take, I would not take this to the police or the fire because it does not meet the minimum criteria of the slope of the road.
Okay, so I wasn't aware of that. It doesn't say anywhere in the policy that once it goes to Don and something like that happens, everyone else is out of the loop. That's all. I'm just bringing,
and so just if I could step in, it's, you know, this is the first one.
Yeah,
absolutely,
And so, and we just, you know, I think we just figured out what the process is.
right.
And, you know, Don, no one knows what the process is until you actually run through it. And so
Right.
my understanding of how things are supposed to go is it comes in, Don takes a look,
Mhm.
Don makes some kind of finding. If he finds, you know, if he first blush looks like this is a good one, then it looks like that he would then bring it to us. He may do a little additional, I suspect if he didn't have any reason to deny it, he might do a little additional work and check with fire and that sort of stuff, so that then he would have a more complete packet when he brought it to the committee.
Okay.
But if he sees on a first blush that it doesn't meet criteria for whatever reason, then the next step would be for him to then present his findings to us. So that then there's an opportunity in this meeting to then discuss other options or to clarify certain details
I-
or whatever it is.
I think we should clarify, because the first page of this, the eligibility form says, if you answer yes to these questions, fill out the speed hump. And the questions are, is it a local street? Does it provide transportation services,
Mm.
25 mile an hour? And since those are the qualifying questions, it has to answer yes to all of those to even move forward. And maybe we just need to put a clarifying statement in there saying it must answer yes to all these questions to move forward.
And then we really only sent speed humps to the, just one second.
That's okay. You're good. You're good. I
Um,
got it in my head.
and so no, but this is good. This is an opportunity to clarify the process, an opportunity to have additional options. If speed humps isn't for whatever reason, then it can be cushions or
That-
whatever.
That I think should be put into the clarifier, because obviously there aren't that many hills in Estacada that have steep grades. You know, it's over
a lot.
8%. No, but I'm saying the people that are interested in the speed humps. So my question is, and my apologies, John, going through everything, when the person gets a denial, is that the first day that the email or the letter goes out to the person that put in the notice?
I would-
Once they receive it, or is there a date on that? That's where I'm trying to clarify, because if
I would
Don
think
said,
not, that
if
it
he
would come
has
to
any
us first.
suggestions, well, I mean, it's here now. So
Right.
that's why I'm trying to clarify.
I don't understand what you're asking.
On the determination of eligibility,
Okay,
if the Public Works Director denies due to the slope of the road,
yes.
there is an appeal on
Yes.
paragraph 2. When does that start? When the individual who submitted the application is notified?
Yes, that's what I would assume.
And when we're talking about this and what Don said, so does the person have to go out and get 10 more signatures? Is probably my question where I'm headed to, since it's an appeal and it comes back to the committee, right? Am I going the right way?
So
Yeah, I
you,
think in
the,
this.
yeah, you did not have to get the signatures until Dawn had determined the eligibility. And I know you had the signatures in there already, but I think the way that I was reading it is you submit the application, Dawn determines eligibility, and then you request the signatures.
No, if you look at the,
It's under the application,
The
the
first
first
paragraph
paragraph. We have to have application and 10 signatures from 10 residents in the vicinity of Problem Street.
Okay,
Then it goes to Don,
then, it-
and then we'll
Yeah.
consult us, police, fire, planning, city manager for criteria.
and I think that should probably be reversed because
Okay.
you should, yeah. no,
We're
I-
just trying
I-
to get on the same
yeah.
page. That's,
And ideally, like Dawn and potentially Kurt, the city
Right.
engineer, would look at it and say, okay, this meets the minimum criteria for like the slope of the street and the street speed limit, et cetera. And then say, these are the places where we should put it. And then we get the signatures based on the location. Right, because you want 10 residents within the vicinity. So if we're talking about, you're putting, some of the streets are longer, you're going to want 10 residents near where you're putting those speed
Right.
hump. Make it very clear where those speed humps are going based
Okay.
on what we need to have for the,
so a couple of
you.
things.
yes.
One, how I think we are with this right now is that whatever that email was about the denial, that's him reporting to us.
Yes.
So
That's
that's him right here.
Yep.
And so now so
Move to
no
the
one's
second
appealed it
paragraph.
yet.
Got
because we're just getting it. And, you know, he's given us his determination. The other thing I wanted to mention is, or say, because I thought I heard saying, don't get signatures at the start of the process. And where there might be value in getting the 10 signatures is that if it's not one person that wants speed bumps, you know, Don's got a lot to do, or the city's got a lot to
Right.
do. And so showing that there is legitimate neighborhood interest
Right.
by getting to his signatures doesn't seem like that high of a bar um, for that street to do, for then Don to take a look, or whoever takes a look. So I'm kind of comfortable with the 10 signatures at the front end.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then I don't see anything about needing to do it again.
It was just a question.
Yeah.
Since we're doing it the first time, I
Right.
want to get it right this
Let's
time.
make
That's
it,
all.
let's make it go.
Right.
So where we are with that one, or with the one we've got right now, where I think that is that first blush is it doesn't qualify because of the
Right.
slope. And so as the committee,
Right.
we can let, you know, Don know that mitigating circumstances, be it, or mitigating facts, be it, you know, cushions instead of humps, or choke points, or whatever. And then that would go back to Dawn.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then,
So if you want to suggest speed, you know, evaluate speed cushions and choke points on this street for if they would meet the criteria for those.
Sounds good. Speed cushion sounds good.
you know,
I know.
but I mean, physics is physics.
Right.
You know, it's, I just don't know.
Right. And, you know, we're all here for the same reason. We
Right.
want the community to be safe and want our kids to get to school safely. I mean, that's why I,
But,
wanted to be on this committee.
but we've got a lot, I think we've got a lot of really steep streets.
Yeah, Cascadia Ridge.
Yeah,
has some
exactly.
Pretty steep ones.
Yeah. So it's hammering this out now, and this is our first one, and I think
Yep.
we've made progress. So what do we send back to Don?
Do you want to give him, what do you think, Tasha, a bunch of laundry list of what to look at? Like our top 3 or something? Can
That's-
do crosswalk, that's a
Yeah, that's good.
residential. Do you want to do speed cushion,
Chokes.
choker, or
Well, yeah, let's go right off the, if you're
Lateral
okay with
shift.
that, lateral shift, choker, and speed
I'm trying to,
cushions. And then in the meantime, we'll go see if we can find anything about
do that.
what Portland does with its steep streets. I don't know what streets you're talking about over there that I've been on, so I don't have
I
any
can let
idea
you
what the
know,
slopes
yeah.
are.
It's straight like this, John, up to the hospital.
Oh, I've been up to
It's
the hill, yeah.
Right, it's
We've been there recently.
it's
so
that side street.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
We were just there a couple weeks ago,
Okay.
so
I can't remember the name of the street.
I don't know the
Cool.
name of the street, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay,
Sorry. Can't
so did we come up with an action plan on that one? I think we did.
Yeah, I'd just like a motion
Okay,
that you'd like to ask the Public Works Director to evaluate. I think you said speed cushions, choke holds, and lateral
lateral shifts.
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 Yes.
So 3,
Yeah, let's in 3.
thank you. Appreciate that.
So can I make a motion? So I would like to make a motion to send to Dawn regarding the speed bump request before us for him to evaluate 3 other options: speed cushions, choke points, and lateral shifts.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Is Heath on there? He what?
He is not on here anymore. I don't know if he lost connection or what, but he's no longer on.
Okay.
Oh,
But you still have a quorum in the room,
Okay.
so,
thank
Okay.
you.
yeah.
Out there. Shoot.
What?
It was something else to ask Dawn. I completely forgot. So sorry.
Okay.
I'll think of it later.
And so actually, we've covered the first two items, correct? And then we also covered graffiti, correct?
Yes.
Okay. American Red Cross. First, to let you know that they got back to us and we are scheduled for January 11th. And it's January 11th from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And they'll have 15-minute breaks. And so there's some things we need to do, though. We may have missed a deadline to put it in the most recent newsletter. but-
I made a decision for you.
Okay,
I created a form on the website and put a link to the form.
so is that what this is? The email?
The email, yes, that I sent you, I put a screenshot of
Okay,
the
okay.
form on there. You can
Thank you.
change what is in the form. If you want to change the information, I can do that at any time. I had to set out the newsletter today, so I wanted to make sure your guys' information was included in there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so, and then you'll need to do the decision points.
Right, exactly. And we're going there.
Yeah,
And
where-
so,
Where's this training gonna be? I'm sorry.
no, that's the next point,
Oh,
is
okay.
it's gonna be at the
Sorry.
Wade Creek Community Room.
Oh.
And so there's a form to fill out. I didn't want to fill it out yet until the committee talked about it. And so there's the form to fill out, but I do think that
Right
they,
there. That's where it's gonna be, right?
correct.
Schedule's right.
We don't do anything with that. Unless it's changing.
Okay.
This, we're scheduled.
Okay.
So the event is scheduled, but
Got
there's
it.
some housekeeping things that we have to sort out right now.
Okay.
And so one is we have to get the form filled out for Wade Creek. I think someone said they were going to reserve it for us, but you still have to cross your Ts and dot your Is. The second thing is we need someone to monitor the people that are signing up, or where do we direct them to sign up for this class? Remember, and you may recall too, but we were going to do, our budget can handle, I think 11 total.
Yeah.
But then I think Melanie said, by that time, there may be a little extra in the budget. We might be able to handle a little bit more. I mean, not like cray or anything. It doesn't ring any bells.
No, it doesn't ring any bells.
Okay. I remember her saying that, but I'm not sure if that would come up. I think we can actually, I mean, it says 8. But if you do the math, I think we can handle up to like 11. And so,
Good.
but we need to keep track of that.
Okay.
And so, and help me with this, but
So I have created a form on the city's website that people can register via that form. But that needs to go to one of the committee members. So I can send it. So all the form goes directly to whoever on the committee wants to handle the registrations and keep track of the registrations. And it should be somebody who is going to be at the event so that you'll have something to check people in with.
right. Looking for volunteers here.
Oh, and Heath is back.
All right.
That's a message.
That is, I'm having some internet problems. Maybe it's just wind going on. I don't know. So I'm gonna log in on the phone. So hopefully this still works. But
Gotcha.
I'd be interested in taking that on for the
Yeah,
registration.
this is a classic example of, you couldn't hear us, so we volunteered you for something.
He's laughing.
I know,
Good, good.
not really, but did you hear what we were talking about?
Yeah, I came back in just as you started talking about it.
Okay, so basically what we've got is Elena has set up a way for people to register for the Red Cross class for CPR and AED, which is January 11th at the Wade Creek Community Room. But we need someone to keep track of who's signing up. And just doing that online part, we can find someone to actually attend the event itself. But do you think you're up for keeping track of this online stuff?
Sure, I can do that.
I'll set it up. It'll send you an email anytime somebody completes the form.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Heath.
And then I can set it up so that the form will not accept any more submissions after 11, if you want that to be your hard cutoff.
Okay.
Or if you want to set up criteria that you want, to have people within city limits or within the zip code or whatever you guys want to decide. If you want it first come, first serve, that's easy for me to set it up to cut off the submissions at 11.
Let's run with that. I would assume there's a way to like, if Melanie does say, we can handle a little bit more.
Yeah, I can
assume we
change it to 12 or 13 if
Okay,
you end up
okay.
being able to add more.
Yeah,
I have a question.
yes, sir.
Not to be but do we have a plan if we only get 5? Is there someone like the city employees could possibly attend the training, or, you know what I mean? Is there something, some people that we could last minute get in there? I'm just looking.
No,
at
I sure.
that
Yeah, I get it.
scenario.
I get our
Okay.
money's worth because
Exactly.
we want at least 8.
We want to get it filled up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
if you guys, if you want to set a deadline, please register by this date. There's nothing on the form yet. So if you want to set a deadline, and if that deadline comes and you don't have 8, we could send it out to all of the other committees and ask and invite them
Ooh,
that'd be
to
good.
have
That'd be
somebody.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. That's
So what
good.
gives enough time to do that?
The newsletter will go out. It doesn't have a deadline in it. It just has a QR code and a link to the website. So
Okay.
I would give people a month.
Okay.
December. Okay.
Yeah, so
Got it.
if you want to give them until maybe like January 2nd, because
Okay.
this will go out with the water bill, which approximately goes out the last weekend of the month. So it's maybe like January 2nd or 3rd would be a good cutoff date.
Okay. That sounds good. That sound good?
Okay.
And then, someone volunteer to fill this out?
Yeah. Oh, usage.
I think it's just really just a form.
Usage agreement.
It's just,
Yeah, it's for our records so that if we
Yeah,
have questions about the
yeah.
event, whoever is handling the Wade Creek room knows who to call.
and just drop it off at the,
Drop it off at the front desk. Yeah.
thank you.
When do you need-
Uh, sometime this week?
That'd be great. Yeah, it is reserved on the calendar, but this helps us for our records.
I didn't even look at it yet.
Mhm.
So, thank you.
Just drop
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, anything else we need to cover on the Red Cross training?
Good job. Good job. Thank you for
Okay,
that.
next up then is, Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan Advisory Committee member.
Yes, we had a member from your committee who is no longer on your committee, so no longer serving on the Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan Advisory Committee. HMAC for short, because that is a mouthful. So was there somebody else who would like to serve on the HMAC? It is one meeting a year, unless there has been some kind of natural hazard or disaster. And then we will meet after that to kind of evaluate if there's things we need to update to our natural hazard mitigation plan.
What time of day are the meetings?
I have scheduled the next one. It's going to be next month. So hold on one second. It is actually January 9th from 11:30 to 12:30, and it can be over Zoom. So generally we meet over the lunchtime.
Yeah, during the day is really hard for me because I'm in my car,
Yeah,
driving around.
What day is that on, Elena?
January 9th. Hold on.
January
Is that a Friday?
It's a Thursday.
Thursday?
Thursday? Thursday again.
I can't do it during the day.
And it's okay. You will be getting 2 new members, so we don't have to do it. I mean, I can have this annual meeting for this year in January without having an additional member. But you'll be getting 2 new members too, come January, hopefully.
Okay,
You have the openings for this, for the seat, so the position that was open. And then since John, although it hasn't been certified, we're like 98% sure will be elected to council. He starts in January, which means you will have another opening on your committee.
Right.
So we have the form open for those 2 seats on the website right now. So if you know people who would like to join, they can fill that out, and hopefully we'll have applicants on your next agenda. And then they'll be appointed to start in January, and maybe one of them would be have a good fit for timing.
I think I'll take the Thursday.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah, that was January
9th.
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 Thanks, Gary.
Okay.
Okay, so that covers that?
Yep.
So moving on to the committee reports and comments. One thing, when we set up the event subcommittee, and that was for National Night Out, just because there was so much, we also set up a second subcommittee, and that was the one that was going to do if speed bumps weren't appropriate, other mitigation, but we also included the school zone at the same time. And so those are both ongoing committees also. And so,
Do you want to call that like your transportation safety subcommittee?
there you go.
Okay, I will add that to your
Yes,
ongoing
that's whatever
agenda.
I said.
National Night Out, transportation. So,
Transportation safety. So,
Good.
okay. Grazie. Okay, and so, is there any updates for the event National Night Out Subcommittee?
No.
And yeah, okay, so any updates? Well, in a way, we did update with the Transportation Safety Subcommittee with the things we're sending to Dawn. Do we have any updates for the school zone?
are you able to, Elena, please? Unfortunately, I didn't know how to send some videos. It was not Elena, it was all on me. I apologize. Next month, we'll get into what Mr. Dobbs and I were out there doing. But this is after watching last month's committee meeting, I believe it was you and Counselor Metcalf discussed Lawrence and Coupland, but the photographs only showed gravel. Here is the final touches where Carrie and I were up there. If everybody can see that, that's a fantastic, what do you call it, Carrie? The turn, that radius, thank you. Where they can coming down from Curran and they can take a right on Lawrence there, right over the drain. And if you can go to another one to show the, yeah, see, that's fantastic. County did a fantastic job on that.
I actually went and drove out there yesterday
Okay.
afternoon, and then also took a look at the Hillway extension,
Hmm.
and then all the new construction that's going on
Yes.
over there.
A lot.
And then, in fact, I think it might have been Shane asking about the speed. Were you asking about the speed study on Deuce?
Mhm.
All that stuff going on right there along the roadway. Do we have an update on that? Do you happen to know? Or is that county?
County.
Do you remember what, did Don say anything about that?
About what Shane asked
About
last
the
month?
Deuce Road thing? Did we get any kind of
I
answer?
don't remember if there was anything.
No, I've not heard anything. Yeah, it's a county road, so.
Can we, that was
I thought.
shocking to me how much
yeah.
new construction they've taken out all the trees. They're getting ready to go. That was shocking to me. And, and it's, what's it, 55 in a rural road, right? And, it's not that wide. And so, that old that old thing about once they start digging, you know, the chances to change things is lost. So is there a way
So
to reach out to Don to see who he might reach or he might contact regarding some kind of, or what do you do with that?
The portion of Deuce Road that is city limits side, the developers who are working on that have to do half street improvements. So they'll have to do the city side of the street improvements on that when they do their developments. And that's in their, it's in their, it's in the transportation system plan. I don't know what the street cutout is and depending
Yeah,
on
I
what their
understand.
improvements are, but it's in there.
And also the county is gonna come make a left turn lane coming into town to go up to Deuce. They're gonna widen that part of Eagle Creek. But
Yeah.
that was a county project
That's a county project.
to Deuce, to go up Deuce. So they're gonna-
And I think the county made some error on Deuce. You know, I'd have to talk to the county
How about
again.
this?
I was thinking that they had shifted the road incorrectly and we're gonna have to move the road a little further on one side. But that's just in the back of my head and I don't have any like official report on that. We can have, I believe Jonathan was looking into it after you had requested that at the council meeting. And since he's not here, he couldn't report back. But at your next meeting, we'll see if he can report back and see what the county said to him.
So I'd be very interested in Deuce Road, lane changes, like you were just talking about with the turn lanes. Deuce, road width and Deuce Road speed limit. And understanding that it's county but you know, maybe Don's got a contact or something like that, see where it is on their list of things to do. Because it was,
Lighting was a thing that had been brought up to the council in the past.
Yeah, so add that, the
Before
fourth
all this
thing.
construction.
Yeah.
It's just the lack of lighting.
yeah,
Out
so
on Deuce, and
streetlights.
people are going the rural speed. So, yeah,
Yeah, that's
big concern.
that would be a disaster.
Are we able to go down a few more photos, Elena, please, to get to John's school? Okay, that's still Lawrence and Coupland.
You really liked it.
Well, I mean, I have these
He had to get
beautiful
every
videos of
angle.
Harry doing acting. Okay, this is one right here. This is 6th in Northeast Pierce. And it was, I think it was earlier this year. I can't remember. It was a citizens action report. They had an issue with the lack of lighting from Cemetery Road up to this light. And then people obviously crossing the sidewalk in front of the high school. But as you'll see here on I believe the next photo, the width here, I can't remember what it was, Carrie, was it 20?
What's that?
The feet here on the picture we took. And then on the other side, the next one will show, this is one of the old.
So that's
school.
Pearson 6th.
That's Pearson 6.
Right.
And if you look to the right there on that, that's Shafford. And we had
Right.
suggested in the past that kids are not coming down on Pierce because I mean, they're teenagers. Oh, we're going to go down there and cross on the crosswalk to go to school. I mean, they don't do that. They just run across the road. But this is one of the old school ones and see, it's already starting to come apart. But I remember when you said what was the new crosswalk? You put it down and then you have to heat it up,
Oh, the thermoplastic.
the thermo.
Yeah.
Are we going to go to all of those and get rid of these? Just a question. That's all.
This looks like it is thermoplast.
Oh, okay.
There was for a period of time an issue with some primer on
Okay.
thermoplast. So it might be that it just needs to be redone.
Okay.
And we can send that you put a request into Don and ask him to redo the thermoplast.
Okay. Because I know just if you go to the left there towards the main, the crosswalk and then over to 6th and Main, those are the new style, the dashes, not this. So I didn't know if we were going to keep it uniform, like here at 4th and Main,
Uh-huh.
where it's, all like that, or just stay.
With the,
with
with the
that.
stripes or you want
I'm
the
good with any-
dashes? Okay.
I'm good with anything because it's for the kids.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we wanted to make it uniform or I don't know. What do you
Yeah, I
think?
mean, first thing I thought it was make the uniformity. I just don't know.
But you said grinding last time was to get rid of it, so.
To get, yeah, to
That's-
get off the thermoplast, you do have to grind
Right.
it down.
Okay.
And so the pedestrian traffic going across there is coming from where?
Pierce. And what, that's gonna be kids coming up from Reagan Hill area, down Shafford, and Pierce.
And they're parking somewhere or they're
No,
just
they're
walking?
walking to school. And that's if they come down here.
Right.
Generally gonna go Shafford and then shoot across
This is Pearson Sixth.
Pearson 6, yes.
Okay, I believe that's in our safe routes to school.
Okay. I just wanted to, you brought it up and I just wanted.
Yeah, no, I'm
without
all
looking at
for
it.
uniformity then. It's
And the light was right above that to the right.
right.
And I don't know if PG&E can give us a boost on some of the lights by the schools. I don't know what they have, but the light that comes down doesn't really, it kind of like hits a fog. It doesn't shower onto a large area.
So let's,
Oh, I haven't seen it at night. Is it an LED? Do they?
I think so.
Okay, I was gonna say it, maybe we could request them upgrade it to LED, but,
I don't know if it is or not.
okay.
I mean, the two pictures ago, maybe we can find out if it's an LED or not.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I'll go
I'm not
drive it
Okay.
once we leave, but
Okay.
what do you think about making this our next
What do you think?
target where we come up with some suggestions for the council?
I like it.
All right, let's do that.
Good.
One little project at a
One
time.
little project at a time. And that's, we wanted to, go around and hit some of the areas that we've been talking about.
Okay, so think about that then for the next meeting is things you'd like to see for that
Okay.
crosswalk.
And what were the other photographs, Helena, please? Oh,
the
good.
graffiti.
Okay,
Now we get
got
into
it.
the graffiti,
Gotcha that.
which
Thank you.
we already discussed with Mendoza.
Okay. You know, once I start turning pages, I just get lost. Okay,
I think you're at the end.
I think we're at the end. Is that what you just said?
You're at the end.
Okay. Okay, let's, comments. Carrie,
Just pursuit, perhaps pursuit on the speed bump, speed cushion. Speed, anything that'll slow down the traffic. You got people out there that are concerned, not concerned, they're living in an area where cars are speeding. So I think what happens in the process of this thing is we have the public, they bring a voice. And then the voice goes to us. And then after the voice goes to us, what do we do with it? We do studies, we talk about it. It takes up time. That's part of the process. Isn't that the way it goes? And then the people still have people speeding. So I think we're supposed to be the answer. And the answer would be do something. So I understand the statement that we all embellish and chuckle about government moves slow. In the meantime, people are still speeding up and down the street. So, what I'm thinking is the process tonight that we discussed was to bring it back again and take a look at it again so that we can answer the voice of the people. That's kind of what we're here for, isn't it? Or is it for here to just, what are we here for, by the way? The traffic safety, and I think the key word is safety. So you got school areas that we work on and we bring information to, lighting, as we just discussed. So I think we're supposed to represent the people to get something done. If that's why I'm here, to take that voice and bring it in here. And I think employees or hired staff, they have a program to do, but the voice of the people still comes. And if I read the charter correctly, the voice of the people goes to the council, and then the council makes a determination to implement that to the hired employees. And then the hired employees, in turn, bring back a resolve to the council. if I read the charter as it's written, that would be called the lines of authority. So now we have the people, the voice of the people, bringing issues to be resolved through the council. And then the hired employees would be the people that would bring back the resolve. So just to get the definition of why we are the Traffic Public Safety Committee, it's the voice of the people. And the procedure seems to stretch out really long. When we made the original part for designing, for bringing in the protocol for speed bumps, speed humps, speed cushions, whatever, all of that package, we said, hey, we'll work with different things on it to make the concession for the voice of the people. Now we've got stringent regulations that we have to go and bring more definition to certain areas and criteria. Well, this doesn't meet this, this doesn't meet that. The voice of the people is still over here talking. People are speeding up and down our streets. It's hazardous. It falls under the word safety. So from that point, I go back to the question of on Shafford, where was the criteria on the speed hump there, which is 14 feet? It's like a cushion, 14 feet, 2 of them put there. Jim and I were out there the other day, watched a truck, a UPS truck come down the street, speeding, slowed down very quickly because of the speed cushion. Takes off again, but he's not going as fast because there's another one right down there with the white arrows and the white lines. And the people that put that in, somewhere it came through the city here before all the code and criteria was even on the books. But it was the voice of the people that went to the city council, that went to the paid employees to get the thing done. So that procedure seems to work, but it seems like we get a cork in the bottle with a lot of code and conditions, and we're not quickly answering the voice of the people. Does that even ring a bell? Is that kind of what we do? We're here to bring the voice of the people in the room? Isn't that why we're here?
I think the example you give is not comparable to the one before us because of the slope. I think the fact that we did develop a new process, and this is the first time through it, and it wasn't as smooth as I suspect it will be, and the smoother it is, the quicker it will go. But I think that we are answering the questions that the people have for us. And it's just figuring out how to get that done. And, I agree that sometimes it can take a long time. We meet once a month. If there are ways to speed it up, we can certainly look at that. And, we can meet more than once a month if we want to, if we need to speed something up. But I think in this particular instance, because of the slope is a legitimate objection to overcome. And we have to figure it out. And I think we took a good step towards that. But again, that goes to your delaying things again. But you've got to cross T's, you got to dot I's, because ultimately there's a responsibility not only to the public, but also, and actually it is to the public, because if we do something wrong, and if the city does something wrong, and then there's litigation, that's going to affect the population in a negative way as well. So, I think in this instance, we're doing a good job. We're trying to do it as well as we can, and we will get better at it as we go. That's what happens with new stuff, I think.
I agree with you, John, on the process, but to make this comment is the wheel has already been invented. When the wheel is Radical Slope, which is in Portland, Multnomah County, right? It's there. It's already been there. would it be able to be infused here with documentation on, where that is? We go up around OSU up there, and that's where these things are. So it's already been done. Implementing what's already been done would not be reinventing the wheel. So I agree with that. That's where we're at now. We're headed that way to do that research, right? So, my comment is people chirping in my ear.
I will, when we get, even before if they fill out a speed hump application, when we get a complaint about speed, we immediately send it to Mendoza and have them increase the patrols from officers and have officers out in that area. We also will regularly have those little flashy speed signs. So we have a few of those portable ones. Dawn will go out and put those up because people, although there are some people who see those and think it's a game to get as fast as they can, but generally people will slow down when they see how fast they're actually going. So we do implement the two measures that we can do without requiring engineering or budgetary constraints in as quick a manner as we possibly can.
Okay, that's a good idea. Why don't we do that?
I'm saying we do that. We do that from staff. That is our first line of when people come, they do a speed complaint, that goes straight out right away.
Good. All I can say is good.
Hear ya.
That it?
Yeah, that's it.
Heath?
I'm good. Thank you.
Tasha?
Pretty short. Mainly I just really want to say that with the year ending and the new year approaching, and we have a lot of new housing coming in, newer people are going to be coming in. I'm really hoping that, and as well with the people that are already established here, that we can get more people to really know who our committee is. Maybe they reach out, find ways in the next year more. So, and hopefully get more people involved, hear more voices, and maybe see more people out here. I would just like to see that more so we can do more for our community, just so we can hear people more and do better.
What about photos?
Photos of,
Committee members? Do
Yeah.
they do that?
I mean, if you guys want your photos, we can put your photos up like
This
on
mug,
the,
I'm not sure, but I
Yeah.
just wondered.
it's, if you feel comfortable with that, we can take your photos, post them on the website so people know who you are, or put it on Facebook. Not everybody feels comfortable with that, so I don't want to institute.
Sure.
We're
Yeah.
on film now, so
Sure.
we're over that.
I
Yeah,
don't know that many people really know about our committee. I mean, honestly, so I
Yeah.
would just like to see in the next year, maybe.
I would
are out
suggest
there more
if you,
somehow.
I send out an e-newsletter once to twice a month, and you can email me something to include in that every single month. And then quarterly, we send out the printed newsletter, which I'm including your first aid class in there. And you can
Perfect.
include something in there in that too. And I will send that out. I usually send out about 2 weeks before my deadline, 2 weeks to a month before my deadline, a notification, hey, the newsletter deadline is coming up. Here, send me something. I don't do that for the monthly newsletter because that goes out whenever I collect enough news to create a newsletter. So you can send me stuff every single month and I will include it in the e-newsletter.
I smell a communication subcommittee.
Well, yeah, not a
I
bad
think
idea.
maybe next meeting, we can talk about that. I think that's a good
Put that
idea.
on your
Something we
agenda.
haven't
I
done.
like that.
Jim?
All right. Thank you, John. I'll keep it short. Carrie covered a lot, but just to reiterate this meeting, it was our first in ironing out the application. But my concern is in the future, we go through all of these measures and the city does nothing on a street that people have been pushing for 5 years or longer to try to get things on these streets. Now that there's a policy in place, I'm going to be the first one there rooting for Don, getting cement and materials for him, and also the purchase of all these new neighborhoods, probably 10 of those speed signs. Because I don't think anyone on that, in that neighborhood is going to say, oh, no, we shouldn't have speed signs permanently on that street. I think that's something we should look at also. If speed humps and speed bumps aren't gonna be, again, I'm not an engineer,
By
but
speed signs, you mean speed limit signs?
no, the flashing ones that
Oh.
Elena alluded to, people are coming up and it's 25 and they're going 35, they'll see it right in their face. And maybe we can convince Don to get ones that have a little software in it, and Chief Mendoza or Deputy Bigler can, get a better idea of what's going on in the neighborhood and actually have the data in front of them. So just a suggestion.
Well, I mean, is that almost a mitigation measure? Like
Well,
what's
Yeah.
the cost?
It's on,
It-
it's
it does-
non-structural systems,
Mhm.
could have educational programs, regulatory signs, speed limiting signs, radar speed indicator signs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there.
What's the cost per, do we know?
I don't know off the top of my head. There's a few different places and it depends on the type of sign. And also you might consider talking to Mendoza because the state passed in the legislature, I think it was a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, that you can ticket, you can do radar sign ticketing. So
In the city limits?
the state legislature passed it to allow local jurisdictions to do it.
Well, I wouldn't want anyone to know where I live if we, yeah, let's try something else first.
Well, I'm just,
Oh, yeah.
I don't want it to be, we do all this
Yeah.
work and we can't help the people on a specific street. That's all.
Yeah.
Can't not give them a solution. I mean, have to.
And I think we've come up with some good, and again, we're just figuring this out now, but I
Right.
think we've clarified the process more. We've got some more potential options, and we'll just keep working the system until something happens. We don't have to stop.
And thank you, Shane, for attending. Appreciate you, buddy.
Okay. My comment is the same as always. I mean, I very much greatly appreciate the diversity of our group. I think we're all different. We all bring something different to the table, and it makes for a stronger group and a stronger output. So I thank you very much. And actually, another note, this came up yesterday regarding the Michael.
Hmm.
And I didn't have any idea. I mean, I knew something bad had happened, but I didn't really understand how bad that was. And I think it was Michael who said it best, there will be insurance and there will be, workman's comp and that kind of stuff. But in the here and now, like right now, this week, the cable bills due, the water bills due, the mortgages due, and they've got a GoFundMe page. And so if anyone has the means or feels okay doing that, to go ahead and I typed in Michael Crosset. It wasn't that easy to find, actually. I had to try different ways to do it. If you know a better way, please let me know. But to reach out to the GoFundMe page, last time I looked, it was like 12,000 or something like that. I just can't imagine, the next few months trying to get through things. And we talked about how slow the wheels turn sometimes. So just to put that out there. So anyways, I'm sorry to end on that note, but it's important. So with that, Meeting's adjourned.
That's congratulations on video.